some noise. If you have, please immediately tell me. There is no issues. You can stop me anywhere, anytime, and ask me. So, the brief recap: you had two individuals and three choices, and these are the different types of preference profiles you can start with. Then we had talked about the 5 conditions of Kenneth Arrow's defined social welfare function and the 5 characteristics that a social welfare function should have. Completely transitory, insurgency, all these things you can see. Now, when we apply this, we first apply the Pareto principle that if for both individuals, as you can see in this particular cell, one random cell that we have taken, that in this case for both the individuals, X is preferred to Y and X is preferred to Z. So if that is the case, then by Pareto principle, the society prefers X over Z and X over Y. Now the next thing is we apply that and we redesign the preference profiles according to the Pareto principle. Then we give one ad hoc preference rule, or as we can say social welfare function, or a collective choice rule, that if this sort of things happen, then we have, if X is preferred to Y by individual 1 and Y is preferred to X by individual 2, we'll say suppose for the time being, you can do the opposite also, will not change anything. We are saying the society is preferring X to Y, right? Now we do that for these XY combination, XZ combination, and YZ combination, right? And now after doing this, what we stopped exactly here in our last lecture, that if we follow the completeness transitivity, which we have followed, universality, Pareto we have already applied, and this independence of irrelevant alternatives, this is exactly what we did in these last 3 things. Now, when we do these 4, we'll find that the last criteria, which is non-dictatorship, is violated, right? We need to have a very logical proof. So far we had done. Now, suppose we consider that we have a particular cell, first row, second column, right? Which was this one. First row, second column. X preferred to Y by both, X preferred to Z by both, but Y preferred to Z by 1 and Z preferred to Y by 2, right? So that column we are thinking, that particular cell or that particular profile we are right done with. What we find? That X is preferred to Y by both. So XPY, which is X socially preferred to Y, already exists, and X socially preferred to Z, that also exists. That's coming from the Pareto concept. Now, with these, we can have 3 basically other alternatives to complete the social preference. X is preferred to Y, X is preferred to Z, but there is no relationship that we're getting from the Pareto consistency criteria for Y and Z. So that there are 3 possibilities regarding Y and Z. One, Y is socially preferred to Z, Z is socially preferred to Y, or the society is indifferent between Y and Z. Right? These are the 3 possible things. Because XPY and XPZ is true from Pareto consistency. Now, look, if let's assume case 1, YPZ, Y is preferred to Z. Then you remember what was that column? That column said y is preferred to z by individual 1 and z is preferred to y by individual 2. That was the profile, actual profile we started with. Look, y is preferred to z by individual 1. So yp1z and zp2y. But now what we are saying that suppose we can have three options. So let's consider the first option, case 1, ypz. Now if ypz holds, then what do we see? That y is socially preferred to z whenever this particular preference pattern is common across all the other alternatives, which is y is preferred to z by individual 1 and z is preferred to y by individual 2. And the social welfare function that we're getting is y is preferred to z by the society. So ypz. Now, if ypz holds in that all these cells where this condition that yp1z plus zp2y, then you can identify these cells exactly where these profile patterns are matching. Now you consider the first row, fifth column cell. First row, fifth column cell. What was that? First row, fifth column cell. X is preferred to Y, preferred to Z by individual 1, Z preferred to X, preferred to Y by individual 2, right? Now, if that is the case, what do we find? It is consistent with this new condition that Y P1Z plus Z P2Y implies Y PZ, right? Correct. Now, if that is the case, what do you find? You need to have XPY. Now, if from Pareto consistency we have X preferred to Y by the society, and also you have Y preferred to Z because of this social welfare rule, then by transitivity, X must be preferred to Z by the society. Now, this particular cell must also have XPZ. So, suppose I'm getting XPY from Pareto consistency and YPZ from this arrow social welfare function rule. Then by transitivity, X is preferred to Y, Y preferred to Z. Then you must have X preferred to Z. So if XPZ holds, then that independence of irrelevant alternatives, that criteria requires what? That X is preferred to Z whenever individual preferences about X and Z are same in that cell. Like in cell, particular cell we're talking, so the relationship between X and Z, if that is we take, that should be true for all other cells. Then you must have XPZ in all these cells. Now, when you take that XPZ, look, this is the first row, fifth column, this is the particular cell. And that relationship is also true for this particular cell, which is second row, final column, sixth column. This is what we call cell 3. Cell identified by the number 3, right? You have 36 cells, so you are giving numbers for the particular. So if that is the case, then you invoke character consistency and transitivity, and XPY must hold in cell 3 as well. Now, when you plug these information back together, take for example, what are the information? XPY from character consistency, YPZ from the arrow social welfare function, and then by consistency you have XPZ. So when you have these three information together and you rewrite the tables, what you get for all the tables? Look, this is the case we are dealing where X, Py, XPZ, and the possibility that Y is preferred to Z socially. Case 1. Similarly, you can do for the second case, ZPY, and the third case, Z and Y are indifferent by the society. Two choices are equally preferred by the society. Now, when you write down these things together, you get certain, so you rework all the preferences to the society. Now you don't have individual one or two, now it's the society. Look, for all the cells where these rules are common, X pre Y, right? So look, the first row, XPY and YPZ, and hence X preferred to Z. So look, XY, for all the columns in the first row, the society is preferring X to Y and Y to Z. Similarly, reorg the second row, third row, and all the cells. Now, when you do that, what do you get? These preferences are exactly identical to individual one's preference. So when you have the four conditions, consistency, Pareto, the welfare function rule, and the universal rule, and that is why, right, if it is this type of preference is applicable, XPZ, what is XPZ? XPZ is coming from my transitivity. But before that, what I said, YPZ. What was YPZ? YPZ was YP1Z plus ZP2Y. So individual 1 prefers Y2Z, individual 2 prefers Z2Y. And that is what we have given the social welfare function as the society itself prefers Y2Z or YPZ. So if YPZ, this relationship that a particular cell having this information where individual 1 is preferring Y to Z along with individual 2 preferring Z to Y. So wherever this happens, you put the same rule, that universality rule. So when you have that, what you get, a particular format for the society. Now when you compare this societal structure with individual preference profiles, you'll find that you have done a simple. You have just considered the preference structures of individual one. So you have completely ignored the preferences of individual two. Then, if the society follows the preferences of one individual, then that individual is a dictator. So whatever individual one prefers, he can implement that at the society level, irrespective of what are the preferences of the other individual. Look, the violation of the non-dictatorship uh, criteria. Now, if you look into the second ZPY, second possibility, we have just talked about one possibility, case 1 YPZ. You can simply do case 2 ZPY. You restructure it, automatically find the preference structure will be that of individual 2. Third, indifferent, you get indeterminate solution. Look, now what are the implications? What are the economic and policy making implications? If in a society, one individual prefers Y to Z, the other prefers Z to Y. In a democratic structure, none between Y and Z becomes a winner because you have two options, Y and Z. Look, from Pareto, we have found X is preferred to Y and X preferred to Z. So there is no conflict among the individuals regarding ranking of alternative X and Y and alternatives X and Z. The only bone of contention is alternative Y and Z. Now, if one person prefers Y to Z, other prefers Z to Y, then if we follow a democratic majority voting structure, neither individual 1 will prefer Y, individual 2 will prefer Z, or vice versa. Then there is no clear winner. And you have YIZ, the third option. Now, if you put that indifference, socially indifferent, then you have indeterminate solution. If the society is indifferent between Y and Z, then you cannot apply the transitivity rule, right? X preferred to Y, X preferred to Z. And Y preferred either to Z or to Y. The other things, this first case and second case, will help you under formulating the transitivity. But in the third case, YIZ, the transitivity will not work. So you cannot design a social welfare function which optimizes the social welfare itself. So the third case is the indeterminate solution attached to the democratic majority voting. First case, you are giving weightage only to the preferences of individual 1. Second case, you are making individual 2 as the dictator. But in cases 1 and 2, both you have determinate solution. It will either look like this, which is preference structure of individual 1, in the particular case where you give preference, where the society replicates the preferences of individual 1, or you can have just the opposite, where individual 2 is the dictator. But in both these cases, you have a concrete determined solution. But in the third case, you will not have, because transitivity will not be able to applied. X preferred to Z, X preferred to Y. Y and Z, there is no strict preference but indifference. But that is the democratic structure. And hence, you can see that you can have completeness, transitivity, universality, Pareto, and independence of irrelevant order. But when you abide by all these four conditions, the final rule, which is non-dictatorship, this gets valid. So you cannot have a particular social welfare function that has all these 5: completeness, transitivity, 1, 2, universality, 3, Pareto, 4, non-dictatorship, 5th, independence. All these 5 cannot be achieved together. Look, the moment you want to implement non-dictatorship, this one gets valid. Right? It's very simple. It's all coming from logic and preference rank. Yeah, it is tedious because most of the time what you have to do, you need to have this original table in front of you all the time. So you have to put it in front of you, and then you have to work out all the other things like this one or these joint preferences, everything have to work out cell by cell. And then finally, when you apply this, you take the first case, then you are getting this sort of structure and followed by transitivity. You have to convert each cell. So keeping the original preference profile is mandatory when you're solving. But it's very easy. Might be a little tedious, but the problem is if you follow democratic majority voting structure, it is very difficult to, it is not possible to have a social welfare function which can be maximized because the society a preference structure that might look like this one, the societal preference, will not exist. If you want to keep transitivity and relax dictatorship, you will always have a concrete societal preference profile. But again, in that case, you have to relax the non-dictatorship. So far, this is what we call Arrow's impossibility theorem. And that's a proof of it. It's a very simple. And if I remember correctly, in our last lecture, before I was wrapping it up, someone pointed out itself just by looking at the thing. They said, look, then you must have. Yeah, it is evident. The moment you have these conditions in front of you, even with two people and three preferences, it is evident that you cannot have this uh, all characteristics abiding social welfare function. You cannot generate one. So whenever you want to take a policy, you have to sacrifice something. So there will always be winners and losers. And hence, the one thing that matters most is redistribution. Without redistribution rules, properly defined compensation criteria, you cannot achieve it. Okay, so this is the syllabus till whatever we have covered so far. Now, if you have any queries or anything, please go ahead. I was supposed to finish this part in our last lecture, but I said, yeah, I'll just keep 20 minutes for this completion of this part. And the rest, whatever time is left, we'll keep for doubt clearing. If you have any doubt or any queries regarding any lectures so far, please go ahead. And as mentioned, I have also shown those who have joined late. Now it's showing me 61 of you have joined. So let me reiterate. Uh, I have, before sharing the slides for Arrow's impossibility theorem, I also showed a partially completed uh, answer solution to the quiz one. But the tougher ones are done, only a few small things are to be left, which you'll get to. So there was a request for a long time to provide the solution for the class test one. I was stuck up for a lot of other things, and I'm sorry I did not get the time, but obviously we'll get it because it's almost done. And regarding uh, so anyway, that other thing, and yes, tomorrow scheduled class timing, you'll have your second test. Please keep your uh, Microsoft login ID passwords. If you have any queries or doubts, please go. Okay, if you do not have any queries, I have one more thing to say because now a number of people have joined, but before that, I will stop recording.